Hi. Hi. Hi, Paul.
Hi, Richard.
How are you?
I'm okay.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Are you sure you can go on?
I can go on.
Good.
Yeah.
And please, let's start the show, which is called
Sunday Chat.
And welcome if you're new to our channel. Thank you so much for subscribing. And to those of you who are watching who aren't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Then you'll never ever miss Richard and Paul again. And remember, if you want it all, watch Richard and Paul. So, my lips are dry.
You know what's coming next.
Bit of Vivi balm.
Slapping a bit of Vivi on your lips.
Slapping a bit of Vivi on my lips. That's it. Lovely.
You need to get the words the right way round for that sentence.
Lovely. Lip-smackingly gorgeous.
Are they all nice and shiny and plump?
Oh,
That's a lovely word, isn't it? Plump. I've often been referred to as plump.
And rightfully so. So, Paul, what
I
have we...
think I'm more often referred to as plump now than fat. So maybe that's a good thing.
Look, everybody.
I don't mind plump.
Shush.
I don't mind plump.
Look, everybody.
Plump's quite nice, really.
I'm wearing my Prince scarf.
Yeah, you are, yes.
Yeah, that we got at the O2. My friend bought it for me at the O2 when we saw the exhibition. Do you remember? It's fantastic.
How long? That must have been 4 or 5 years ago.
Oh, it was a while ago.
Was that pre-pandemic? Or was it pre?
Must have been pre-pandemic.
Gosh, yeah, time flies.
I know, and it was super good and super visual. I mean, the costumes, all of that. It was just great, wasn't it? It was quite emotional as well.
Yeah. So it told the whole story and obviously had lots of costumes and guitars and things like that.
Yeah.
I found the O2 rather a soulless thing. There's a cinema there as well, wasn't there? Was there a cinema there?
Oh, my bloody nose is running.
Oh, I can't.
I know, I just have to stop. I've only been to the O2 for that.
Yeah, well, I've
not been to any events there or anything like that.
I wouldn't want to go to any there.
It's very big, isn't it?
Yeah. I think things like that, when they get too big, they get, I don't like being in big crowds. No. I think when we went to see ABBA Voyage, that was the biggest crowd I've been in for an awful long time. And of course, it's seated.
Well, it's not fully seated.
Well, a lot of it's seated. Most of it is seated, and then there's the dancing area at the front.
Well, it's a 3,000 capacity, isn't it?
It's a 3,000 capacity. Yeah. And but it didn't feel as though there were 3,000 people in. I mean, there wasn't 3,000 people in that foyer. How did they get all those people through the doors? Because it's the foyer area isn't that big, is it? Because it's purpose built.
I think they sort of.
Do they have other areas you can go?
No.
Well, there we are. Maybe we need to find that out. There's a couple of bars and cafes around, so maybe they were over there as well.
Well, it was organised very well.
Yes.
So, there was no problem with overcrowding, although it was very crowded, if you think about it.
Yeah, it was, but I didn't feel it was.
No.
Yeah,
I think people are so excited.
Yeah, I was
to
very
be
excited.
There and to get on with getting into the auditorium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh, fascinating, isn't it?
But there are different entrances to the auditorium, if you remember.
But don't they all feed into that central one?
No, there's different.
Oh, right.
There's different entrances.
There we are.
Anywho, let's get on with the show, Paul.
Sunday chat,
and it's first of all Richard and Paul's weather report. So, what has the weather been like this week in London, Paul?
It's been cold and a bit damp, not too wet, not as wet as when we had Storm Kieran.
Well, I think it was very wet on Wednesday.
It was wet on Wednesday, but it wasn't wet all week. And in fact, today has been a gloriously sunny day. It's Saturday, just gloriously sunny and blue skies. It's now about 3:15 in the afternoon.
Yeah,
something like that.
It's nearly time for sundown.
So the skies are getting sort of a bit darker, not so blue. But yeah, it's been a lovely morning.
But isn't it interesting, because when you're down here, it feels like it's going dark, but you go upstairs and there's still the sun coming into the top of the house.
Oh, there is, absolutely.
And it's lovely and bright and warm.
I went out yesterday. I needed to get some charcoal for our Bonfire social. More on that shortly. And I went out yesterday afternoon in the car because I also wanted to fill up the car with petrol. Have a bit of anxiety over our petrol cap.
Oh, yeah.
Can never quite remember how it opens, and you need to turn the key that way and turn that way, and then that happens. And so anyway, I went out in the car yesterday, and as I was coming back, when I turned off the road, the sun was lighting up some buildings in such a way I wasn't sure. I was sort of in the shade, and I wasn't sure whether it was a light that had come on that was sort of really pounding these buildings, or whether it was the sun. And then I suddenly turned the corner at the top of our road, and the sun was sort of blaring in through the windscreen.
Oh, well, that was terribly interesting to hear that.
I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was.
But this morning was extremely cold, as you'll see on my daily vlogs, which are out now. That's hashtag Richard's Daily Vlogs.
Is it really hashtag Richard's Daily Vlogs?
No. I made that up.
You could.
But maybe I'll add that.
You could add that, couldn't you? Hashtags Richard's Daily Vlogs. That would be lovely, wouldn't it? To have your own hashtag.
Well, you can have your own hashtag at any time, can't you?
I know. I was being patronising. It was in such an honest way, he didn't even notice. There we are. There we are.
Well, that just shows how mean you are.
It does. It does. I've been so mean this morning. I've been overseeing a work party at the Allotment with lots of people preparing for our Bonfire social this evening, which I'll also be running. That's how mean I am.
You're very cruel.
I am.
So yeah, weather, bit of a mixed bag this week. Windy and wet on Wednesday. Fine and cool today.
I was lovely and warm getting on with my work this morning.
Yeah, I'm sure you were, because you were doing manual labour.
Yeah,
One can't spend all one's time in one's home doing manual labour, Paul.
Well, you could.
Well, one is not going to.
That's different. That's very different.
No, really. You know, I'm sorry, this year we're having heat.
You're having heat.
Yeah.
Well, look. Look. What have you got on at the moment?
I've got a t-shirt and my hoodie and my scarf and my pants.
Have you not got a thermal on?
No, I've got my Kate Bush t-shirt on.
Well, you should put a thermal on.
It's
and then
organic
we wouldn't have to
cotton,
have
Paul.
the heating on. Not that the heating is on at the moment. It's not.
You seem to be not fully understanding that the house needs to be heated as well.
It does. It does.
You can't just be heating one room.
No, you can't.
And all this stuff about heat the person, not the home. No, I'm sorry, that's wrong. You need to heat your home as well, because things start to go wrong.
It's a huge asset value in your home, so we need to try and do that. Yeah. Anyway, I am lots of sort of active work today. So you've been doing quite a lot of editing and stuff, haven't you? So you've been less active. So I've been quite warm.
When you're sat at a computer typing, you need to be warm, because your hands start to get really cold, and my hands do feel the cold.
Oh.
As do my feet as well. I know.
Do you use your feet on the keyboard?
Yes. I type with my feet.
I think we'd all like to see a video of that.
I don't think so.
Isn't there a thing? Maybe there's a sort of feet fetish thing, isn't there?
Well, of course there is.
Yeah.
Of course there is. Paul.
I
It's naive to think there isn't.
I didn't know about this until we watched Schitt's Creek.
What?
When Moira goes to the convention.
Yeah, that's right. Well, yeah, you know, people are into all sorts of things, and good for them.
If you would like a shot of Richard's feet, just like Moira in Schitt's Creek.
At £75.
I was going to say 80.
80.
I was going to say 80 to allow for inflation.
In fact, it's £100.
Yeah, it's £100. Yeah. So if you'd like a shot of Richard's feet.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Shush now, Paul. Going on and on and on about things that aren't ever going to happen.
I've got that picture of you and your bottom. Do you remember going out the doorway?
We can auction that. Starting at £1,000.
I took a photo years ago when we were still at our flat of Richard naked walking out of the front room. I'm not quite sure.
Well, we used to walk around naked quite often, didn't we?
Did we?
Because that flat was quite warm.
Yeah, it was actually. It was. We were a bit. We had flat on top of us, flat side to side, so we weren't detached. So yeah, it was quite warm. That yeah, it was. Yeah.
In the days when we didn't care.
And there's a little cute bottom of yours, wasn't it? Little cutie botty. It's still quite cute.
Well, no, I think it's dropped now. I think gravity has taken hold.
I think gravity's taken hold up here for me.
My peach has turned into a prune. Anyway.
Oh, there we are.
Let's...
Preachy.
Yeah, all right. All right.
Yeah.
God. Honestly, you're out of control. Have you been drinking caffeine down at the plot?
I did have 3 cups of coffee
Yeah,
this
I can
morning.
tell. I can tell. Slow down. You move too fast.
Ah, dearie me.
So, Paul, you've got your Bonfire Social tonight.
We do.
And of course, this week has been the week of Guy Fawkes Night celebration all over the country. People are celebrating the foiled plot of
blowing up the Houses of Parliament.
The Houses of Parliament being blown up by gunpowder.
Yeah. Guy Fawkes gunpowder plot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why we're celebrating the fact that it was foiled,
I
do not know.
I know.
Really, we should be commiserating the failure.
Yeah. I'm not quite sure how they got under the Houses of Parliament.
I don't know, but I'm sure if you do the Google, you'll find it.
Yeah. I do know that somebody that I
year was
used to 17 something. I do know that somebody that I used to work with, his family in Ireland harboured a whole load of gunpowder plot people. And when it was found out, he lost all his land. The family lost all the land.
Well, they were evil in those days,
they did do things like that, didn't they? Just nick land from people. I wonder if any countries nick land from other countries nowadays. Yeah, there we are. I wonder if they do.
Oh, don't even start.
Yeah.
Don't even start with that. So, anywho, Paul, you were talking about the potential for making a pumpkin pie. We've never had pumpkin pie, have we?
No, and I'm talking about American pumpkin pie.
Yeah, American pumpkin pie.
We make a savoury feta cheese and pumpkin pie in phyllo pastry. And for years, you've got Thanksgiving coming up, and for years I've heard about, and seen obviously on TV and things, pumpkin pies, and heard lots of talk about pumpkin pie. And I think most pumpkin pies in America are made with a pumpkin in a can. You get pureed pumpkin in a can. And I'd quite like to try pumpkin pie and see what it's like.
Oh, I would too.
But I would like to make it with pumpkin rather than to get a can of pumpkin, because obviously we've got squash, we've got an uchiki curry, which I think would be really nice to make into a pumpkin pie. So
we'll just bloody do it then.
I don't know is it short crust pastry? Is there sugar? Is it honey?
Do the Google.
I could Google. Google.
Get a recipe, see if Delia's got one.
But I'm wondering if people have got a sort of like a special one that they can send, something that they always do.
Let us know, and the best forum for that would be our Facebook group, Planet Vegetaria. That's a Facebook group by Richard and Paul. Richard and Paul since 2017, that's contractual. Yeah, share it with us.
And
Let us know. Alexa, please stop.
I'm also interested to know if there's a savoury pumpkin pie that they do in America.
Well, you've already done one.
I know, but in America, I don't know. Maybe let us know.
Anywho, I'm sure you'll be able to find one successfully and carry out the cooking of it.
Yes, I'm sort of doing what I hate people doing on Facebook when they sort of say things like, does anyone have a good recipe for such and such? Or what time does such and such a shop open? Because you can just Google it.
You're cruel.
I am so
cruel and judgmental.
And of course, if you do want to join Planet Vegetaria, make sure you answer the questions.
Answer the bloody questions, or else you won't be let in.
Yeah, because if you don't answer the questions, then Facebook doesn't actually let us know that you want to join. So there we are.
Well, no, that's not strictly true.
Isn't it?
No, it does let us know, but then it says the admin assistant will kick in after an hour and get rid of you because you've not answered the questions.
Yeah.
It's an automated process, which just makes it a bit easier for us. Yeah.
But we do. If you do answer the questions, we do get to see them.
You've been let in.
Yeah.
They're simple questions.
They are simple questions. Yeah.
Anywho, so yes, this week has been Bonfire Night with all the things that go with it. Fireworks going off left, right and centre. But of course, Diwali is tomorrow, the Festival of Light.
Which is Hindu?
Hindu, Sikh and Jain.
Right, okay, so...
They all have similar festivals.
Right, okay. But is Diwali particularly...
Hindu, but the Sikhs celebrate it's got a slightly different name.
Right, okay.
And the Jains also as well.
Right, yeah. So we, depending upon whether there's clouds, we'll be able to see the fireworks. And we'll certainly be able to hear them, of course.
I mean, you've heard us talk about it before, but we live very close to a major Asian community. It's one of the largest in London, in Southall. And I mean, I guess it's a large community that sort of spans Southall and Hayes, Hounslow. It's all sort of that direction, and it's perfect for viewing from the top of the house, from the window, where I looked at the fireworks the other night on my vlogs. So, I mean, usually it's kind of like constant for hours and hours on the skyline.
Yeah.
So it's a sight to behold, and we're kind of used to it now.
Yeah. So we've got our bonfire social at the Allotment this evening, which I'm sure will be absolutely lovely. Perfect weather for it. It was postponed from last week to this week because the weather last week was so bad. Particularly the water level was so high at the plot, the groundwater level, that it was quite slippy. Now today that water level has sort of gone down as it does, so it's not slippy. And we had a good turnout this morning for the working party where we get everything ready, so we get chairs out, we get tables out, all of that type of thing. Start building the bonfire as well. There's others that will continue building the bonfire as we do this from 3 o'clock onwards. And then we light it up at, the master of the bonfire. We have a master of the bonfire. He is going to be lighting up about 6 o'clock. So, and we'll have 2 barbecues going, one for veggies, one for non-veggies. So, yeah, it should be good. And lovely that there's no rain forecast. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's good. I do hope everyone has a marvellous time. I won't be attending.
You're not attending, but I have taken some pumpkin and chickpea curry out of the freezer for you to have this evening.
You're so kind.
I know, I'm too kind. I'm too kind. I've gone from being really mean to too kind.
Too kind.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I thought you could have that with pitta.
Well, I'll have it with whatever, or I may have it just on its own.
Yeah, or you could make some mashed potato and have it with mashed potato.
No, I don't think so. Mashed potato and curry? I don't think so, Paul. That's not a combination that I would go for.
Mashed potato and macaroni cheese? which is starch and starch.
Yeah, I have been known to have that.
When I used to go away, I used to buy Richard some ready-made mashed potato. I know it sounds mad. Ready-made mashed potato and macaroni cheese, just so that he had that in the fridge to
And very often
eat.
I would just eat it at the same time.
Yeah, he would eat it at the same time. Yeah.
Oh well, I was a lot larger in those days and probably used a lot more energy.
Yes, you most probably did.
Yeah.
You most probably did. Or needed more energy, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you need quite a lot of energy now
Yeah.
because you're so
Cold.
slim and cold. I mean, that is the thing, you know, when you lose weight, you lose a lot of insulation.
I
Well,
have actually
depending
put a bit
how
on.
much. Have you?
Yeah, just a bit.
Oh, was that the 6 or 8 chocolates that you had last weekend with our friend?
I think it was the 2 chocolate bars I had at work.
You didn't. I hope they were small chocolate bars.
They were leftover chocolate bars from the ones that were gifted to the staff that had vaccines. They collected the vaccines, the leftover ones.
Didn't they
went
collect
back,
the chocolate bars?
They went back to the NHS. And when they asked me about the rest of the things that went with it, I said I didn't know where they were.
Did you know where they were?
Yes, in my cupboard.
So naughty.
No, they didn't really.
So naughty.
They didn't ask for the chocolate bag.
So you
I said,
decided to eat this.
Good job, I've already eaten it.
Well, cool. I had mine this week, didn't I?
Yeah,
My
but you didn't get a
vaccine.
chocolate bar though, did you?
And I had my flu
You had
as
your
well.
COVID and your flu on the same day.
Yeah.
And any side effects, Paul?
None.
None whatsoever.
Not even a sore arm from the
Just
injection.
crazy.
No.
I don't know how that happens to you.
I don't know.
I always get a sore arm, potentially a slight bruise, and pain for a week with symptoms the next day. I know, I just can't go on. So, yeah, there we go. So, Paul, you had your vaccine this week. Any other highlights from this week that you can share with the viewers? Oh, it's just gone darker, hasn't it? The sun's really going down now. Any highlights of your week, Paul's week?
Oh, I thought you were talking about something in particular.
No.
I don't really have any highlights for the week.
Fine.
It's been pretty good. One thing that has happened is I now have a greenhouse.
So you eventually moved it with the help of a friend, a plot neighbour.
Well, to
a
be
very generous.
Yeah.
Generous. plot neighbour.
I helped him. He didn't help me. He sort of did it. And then on Monday morning, we were going to lay the slabs, and he just sent me a text and said, "Leave it to me. I'm fine doing it on my own," which I think he mostly got it done quicker on his own than he would with me. But he laid those 20 slabs.
I mean, isn't it great when people help? And
Absolutely.
we were talking about this. I think, and this isn't, don't take this in the wrong way, but I think over the years, I think because we both appear to be relatively confident people, we don't generally get offers of help.
No, we were saying about this the other day.
And we tend not to ask for help. Because you don't want to put upon people.
Yeah.
So we try to do things ourselves, but sometimes it's so lovely when you do get help that you've maybe not necessarily asked for, but somebody steps in and assists you.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a little bit how we feel about our supporters on Coffee, because we are genuinely touched by the support that we receive. You know, I mean, I'm not I'm not poor me with this. I'm not trying to act like, oh, poor me, I've never had any help. But in lots of things, we haven't had any help.
No, we haven't. We've been in situations where we've sort of got on and done things, and then somebody else sort of goes, oh yeah, so and I did that, and so and so and so and so and so and so turned up and helped me, and we thought, I wonder why they didn't turn up and help us. They knew that we were going to be doing that. But yeah, I don't know. But I'm just so grateful to this plot holder, and in fact, there's some really decent ones at our allotment, and it's great. Yeah. I think it's sort of part of that, you know, you help other people and you know, that sort of phrasing that I hate, what you put out you get back. So
Well,
I don't think it really works, but I'm really pleased to have had so much.
Well, I don't know, Paul,
help.
because lots of you have expressed over the years that, watching our videos you have found helpful and supportive and entertaining. And I think, in a way, we're trying to give back through providing entertainment, I think that's a valid form of help. I almost think we're a little bit like a public service broadcaster in that respect. And
absolutely.
But we take the responsibility on our shoulders and, hopefully give good content. So.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that, because years ago when I worked at the Theatre Goers Club of Great Britain, one of the people that worked there, who was an actor, he did a lot of radio plays, he said to me that he wanted to do something that was worthwhile and that was going to be beneficial to people. And I said, well, actually, in the role that you've got at Theatre Goers Club of Great Britain, you're being paid to do the job, but you are benefiting so many people. Because at that point, the Theatre Goers Club of Great Britain had 25,000 members, and they all paid an annual membership fee, and they paid to go on trips to the theatre and gardens and things like that. But he was part of that, and I really felt that community of the Theatre Goers Club of Great Britain, even though it was a business, it was really bringing people who might not be engaging outside of their homes in anything else other than going to the theatre or going to gardens. And I said, I think you are doing something that's valuable, because I think what we were doing I think it brought things together, it brought people together.
I think it's important in life to feel as though you're playing your part in some way. I certainly feel like that at work. I feel as though I'm doing my bit for the community.
Yeah.
But you're being paid to do a job and hopefully do it well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, Paul, my week's been fine. Thank you for asking.
How has your week been, Richard?
Well, you just have to watch my daily vlogs. Available now. Okay, so other news, Richard and Paul news. Our newsletter will be out. It's a little late this month due to other things going on, due to leading very busy lives. So busy.
Due to life.
Just everybody leads busy lives. Nobody's got, unless you're a lazy oik that spends all your time lying around and having afternoon naps.
There we are. So it will be out on Monday.
Yeah.
So if you're not signed up at richardandpaul.com/mailing list, do sign up. Yeah.
Is it mailing list?
Yeah.
Not newsletter?
I think it's mailing list.
Is it? Are you sure?
No.
Also...
Or email us. Yeah.
A new video series will be starting shortly. Richard and Paul's Read Along.
Mm-hmm.
We've been promising it to you for a while. We have done some preparation. We've chosen some books. And the way it's going to work, we'll explain this again in the video itself. But there's going to be a pre-recorded video, and then we're going to talk about the books we're going to read, and then there's going to be a live show a month later to talk with you directly about the books that we've read and find out whether you read them as well. You'll need to read them to take part, but you don't have to.
Or there may be some books that you've already read, so it may not be that you have to read them, it may be that you've already read them. So, because it's going to be quite an eclectic mix, it's not going to be, it's not going to be a particular type of thing, and it's not going to be driven by the bestseller list as many book clubs are.
There may be obscure books that you've never heard of and authors that you've never heard of, but we're going to talk about the books that appeal to us, and you may learn something new.
And we may learn something
Exactly.
new. It's. I think it's really nice when you know you really like an author, and then somebody else who likes that author goes, "Oh, have you read any?" Alexa, please stop.
Thank you.
Have you read any of this author? Because if you like this author, I think you'll like this one as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where we're going with our read along.
There you go. So more Rich and Paul fun for you. So let's move on to the final segment of the show, which is what have we watched on TV this week, Paul?
We've watched quite a lot, actually.
Have we?
We have. We've watched like an episode of several things. We started watching the film Reminiscence with Hugh Jackman. Yeah.
That's my review.
Both of us. I mean, if you like seeing Hugh Jackman's chest in a bath of water, it's watch it, and then just sort of scan, fast forward through the rest of it. But yeah,
I didn't even get to that bit.
Didn't you?
No.
Well,
I'd have remembered that bit.
I think you must have fallen asleep quite quickly. He was in that tub quite soon.
It didn't engage me clearly, and it didn't mean anything. And I think I said to you, I have no empathy for these characters at all.
No, he did say that. What he also said, because it's all about people's memory, and you also said that, I don't know about you, but when I dream, I see it from my perspective. I don't see myself in the dream.
Yeah,
and
these
I think
people were seeing themselves as their memory, as though it was shot on a film.
Yeah.
And I didn't think that was right. That jarred with me.
I didn't know whether the technology that they were supposedly using to do this filled in the blanks.
Well, I guess so. I guess the brain can do that. And I guess you can sometimes visualise yourself in a situation. But maybe I'm unusual. I don't know. But I usually see my memories from the same perspective that you see everything, which is from your perspective. So I don't know. Weird.
I mean, even if you lose something, you lose your keys in the house, and somebody else goes, well, track back what you did. You don't do it as if you're watching yourself, do you? When you track back, you go, well, I came in the door, and you're sort of seeing it from your perspective, even though you're remembering what happened. Yeah.
The other thing I saw the other day on a video I was watching was they were talking about the voice in your head. When you hear a voice in your head, which is your voice, it doesn't sound like you. Is that true for you?
Not really, no.
Does it sound like you?
No, not really.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, it doesn't.
No.
It sounds like somebody else.
Weird, huh?
I mean, sometimes I might, if I'm thinking about something, I'm sort of thinking about both sides of something, that voice might be my voice in my head. But if I'm sort of hearing, just generally hearing, but no, it's not my voice, no.
Whose voice is it? Ooh. Anyway, we continue with Bosch Legacy.
Bosch Legacy.
Which continues to be amazingly good.
We've got
one
episode left.
Which we're saving. We don't want to eat them all in one go, do we? We also continue with Foundation, which a colleague of mine at work was putting onto a memory stick, but one of them didn't play, so we hadn't watched them. And we decided to get a free trial with Apple TV so we can finish the series, which we've done, haven't we?
Well, it wasn't actually a free
You told
trial.
me it was a free trial.
No, it's not. It's with Apple TV, but it's because we have Virgin Media and I have an O2 phone. You have a priority thing, and it offered 3 months free. So that's what we've got. We've got a 7-day trial plus 3 months free.
And then we'll discontinue it.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
So it is a free trial. So I was right.
Semantics. Yeah.
So Foundation, season 2. Yeah, I mean, it's a bit hard to follow.
Season 2, episode 2 introduces a completely different tribe of people, and that threw us both.
Well,
because it jumps in time. You know, that's the thing.
granted, I was a little tired as well.
Yeah.
And sort of falling in and out of consciousness. But, yeah, I think got back on track since we watched the following episode.
Yeah, season
That's
2,
lovely.
episode 3, fantastic.
We finished What We Do in the Shadows, season
5?
6, I can't remember. It's the latest season. Great. We started a new show called Signora Volpe.
Yeah, with... What's her name?
Exactly.
Amelia Fox.
Well, I'm so sorry to say this, but I don't rate her as an actress. No.
It just the whole thing really didn't work.
She's
for
the
us.
same person in every
know.
single thing she
I
does. She's not taking on a character.
So anyway, we've knocked that on the head. We
Yeah.
watched about half an hour of it, and yeah,
Goodbye.
yeah. So
You're the
that was
weakest
that.
link. Goodbye.
Gosh, the weakest link. That used to be so huge.
Now, this links in with the read-along. We watched a show on YouTube, which is from the 70s,
Well, it's from the 60s.
late 60s, called The Owl Service, which is an Alan Garner story based on the novel of the same name. I'm not going to say much about it, but it is available on YouTube, and it's a typical late 60s, early 70s production that's slightly out there. I've never read the book. Gives you a clue. Yeah, we watched it and actually quite enjoyed it, but it's very of its time.
It is.
Isn't it?
It is.
And it's sort of the main characters, very of the Jenny Agutter school of acting, really. It's all sort of spoken in very sort of posh voices, but slightly relaxed, and it's all sort of a golly, blah blah blah, how terrible, da 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 da.
Can't really go on.
I can't really go on.
No.
What am I going to do? Oh, how horrid. Blah blah blah.
But anyway.
So that was quite fun to watch, although it's not fun.
No, it's not
It's
fun.
quite serious. Yeah, so I'm not going to say any more about that because we're going to tackle that in read along.
Yeah.
RuPaul's Drag Race we continue with. Highlight of the week, frankly,
is really,
because
isn't
it's
it?
that joyous hour or however long it is of total mayhem and fun and colour.
Yeah. It was
Basically.
great. What was this week? Oh, they all had sketches to do this
It
week.
was an acting challenge.
It was an acting challenge. Yeah, loved it.
And Paul, you finished The Mist.
I finished the Mist series on Netflix, was it? I think.
I didn't.
You didn't. You fell asleep.
Yeah, and I'm quite glad.
The series is very different to the film.
My one question is, did the mist lift?
No.
No. Well, how ridiculous. Mist lifts. It moves with the weather system.
If it's the weather, it moves.
Ooh. Anyway, yeah. So that's been it for television this week, and that concludes Sunday Chat for this week.
Sunday Chat!
Yeah, Jesus, Mary Mother of God.
I have watched Shetland.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, I like Shetland.
Lovely.
I think we're going to watch Shetland. I think you're going to watch that first episode with me, with the new person. It's the person from Agatha Raisin, isn't it? Is it her?
Well, Agatha Raisin, frankly. Better be better than that. Anyway, Paul, it's time to say goodbye now.
Goodbye now!
Goodbye, and thank you so much for watching. We do appreciate your support on all of our platforms. Facebook, Planet Vegetaria, Instagram,
Threads.
other threads,
Coffee.
X, and let's not forget our supporters page, Coffee, where you can buy us a coffee. Thank you, bloody thank you. Please to the knees, tar to the bra. Oh, and my final thing to say is the Salulu is the Delulu.
Oh God, that really threw me when you said that earlier. I think that's bizarre.
Anybody know what Delulu is? I do.
I do.
More on that next week.
It sort of feeds back into some of what we were saying last week, I think. Yeah.
Anyway, are you Delulu? I am.
Are you Salulu?
I am the Salulu. Delulu. Salulu.
Where was Sulu?
Delulu.
Sulu Star Trek. Oh, yeah.
But that's nothing to do with that.
No, I know it's nothing to do with that at
don't
all. Nothing.
confuse
Nothing.
the
Don't
issue.
confuse anyone. No, don't confuse anyone at all. No, don't confuse. No, don't.
There we are. I've switched him off. Bye for now. Take care.
Bye.